You pour in effort, passion, love, and breathe every pixel. But then what? The client ghosts you on payment. The project falls apart. You lower your head, swallow your frustration, and struggle just to survive another day. No one told you, being a great designer is not enough. You don't know how to price your work, negotiate, or even talk about money. Every client meeting feels like a gamble. Every project is a trade-off between your health and time for a meager income. You're being taken advantage of because you lack a system, a strategy, and business thinking. This video is your wake-up call. And if things go on like this, your passion will crush you. Part 1. Deposits and smart payment structure. All professionalism in the creative industry must begin with one simple thing: requiring upfront payment. A 50% deposit is not just a financial matter, it is a clear boundary. It shows that you know your value and demand respect. When you work with nothing in hand, you lose all bargaining power and diminish your perceived worth in the client's eyes. A strong business is one that does not place blind trust in words. The three-stage structure, 50%, 25%, 25%, is an effective project management tool. It breaks down financial pressure, motivates progress, and enhances engagement at review checkpoints. Some fear this approach makes clients feel distrusted, but in fact, the opposite is true. A clear payment structure builds transparency and increases trust. Professional clients usually appreciate this. Financial laxity is what truly undermines business credibility. In reality, many believe that big clients always pay, so they're willing to proceed without financial conditions. But it's precisely those big clients, without a milestone-tied structure, who pose the highest risks. They can delay or change requirements anytime. In such cases, you lose all leverage. Business failures often stem not from skill deficiencies, but from poor risk management from the start. When money flows according to milestones, work is managed more efficiently. You can pay staff on time, reinvest promptly, and maintain creative momentum. A business cannot operate like a spontaneous art group. Steady cash flow is the prerequisite to move from freelancer to business owner. Controlling cash flow means controlling strategy. Creative freedom only comes when finances are disciplined. No financial discipline, no professional freedom. Part 2. The $1 profit and financial thinking lesson. $1 million project may not deliver equivalent value without the right financial strategy. If expenses nearly equal revenue, profit is eroded to nearly zero. This is a sobering lesson. The contract's value is less important than what you retain after all costs. Every dollar spent must be scrutinized not just for amount but for purpose. Real profit is what remains after paying others and yourself. Some believe that the bigger the project, the greater the prestige, and accept low or zero profit for the sake of reputation. But they overlook the long-term cost. A $1 million contract with $999,999 in expenses means you earned just $1. That's not a win, it's a failure in management. Meanwhile, a smaller $100,000 project with good cost control can leave you $50,000. That's 50% profit. Size does not equal effectiveness. Control is what creates freedom. Profit doesn't come from doing more, but from keeping more. Creative businesses must shift their mindset. Don't chase project size, focus on cash flow control. Taking on a project must be based on clear financial efficacy, not emotion. If every big contract is a profit margin edge case, you'll always be stressed and unstable. Sustainable businesses choose battles that offer growth potential. Part 3. Correct and complete pricing system. A quote is not a simple equation between time and rate. It's a strategic mindset system where you must account for the unseen. When an artist charges $500 a day for 10 days, it may seem reasonable, but that's just the production cost. To operate properly, you must include management, supervision, equipment, and a fair profit margin. Otherwise, you're creating a job, not building a business. Working to survive is different from working to grow. A common mistake is calculating accurate costs and quoting exactly that amount. This is dangerous. A minor deviation, a missed deadline, extra hours, changed requirements can wipe out your profit. A quote must always include a safety margin. A smart company always anticipates risk in each project and builds it into hidden costs in the quote. Don't let your pricing be an equation with no profit margin. If you earn nothing, exhaustion is your only long-term outcome. A complete pricing system must include multiple cost layers: production costs, rate days, management costs, producer, creative direction, art director, equipment and software, workstation, and most importantly, profit margin, markup. When you add all these components, a job that seemed like $5,000 should actually be quoted at a minimum of $17,000. After including a 20% profit, the total quote should be $20,400. This isn't price inflation, it accurately reflects operational value and risk tolerance. Some think adding management, direction, or software costs is unnecessary because they can do it all themselves. But this mindset traps your business in a freelance model where you work for yourself. If you don't include these costs in your quote, you're working those roles for free. A business must do more than break even. It must be able to reinvest, expand, and hire. Properly accounting for all costs is the only way to step out of freelance and into a true business ecosystem. A proper pricing system is also a tool for managing expectations. When clients seek clear pricing tied to each deliverable, they are less likely to make unrealistic demands. Transparent quoting also protects you from being pushed beyond scope. Without a full price list, you have no grounds for negotiation. Professionalism doesn't come from pleasing the client, but from the ability to manage boundaries and stick to principles in every situation. Profit should not be viewed as extra, but as a mandatory condition for sustaining and growing a business. If you only charge for the artist's work and not coordination costs, then when issues arise, you'll need to cover losses from your own pocket. That's not sacrificing for passion, it's a system failure. A business doesn't need altruism, it needs a smart financial system to weather risks. Profit is the shield that protects you from the unexpected. Part 4. Financial reserves and smart profit allocation. Every pricing plan must include a reserve component. No project runs completely smoothly. There's always the chance of delays, technical errors, or unexpected staffing needs. If you don't include a reserve fund in your pricing from the start, you'll have to pull from profits or personal funds to handle crises. Financial proactivity means seeing potential failure even when things seem fine. And a leader must always plan for the worst-case scenario before dreaming of the best outcome. Ignoring operational costs like software, equipment, and workspace just because they're not immediately incurred is a silent path to bankruptcy. If you start scrambling only once the expenses show up, it's already too late. These costs must be bundled and hidden within every quote as essential infrastructure. Without a mindset for allocating profits defensively, your business is like a blazing firework, bright at first, but quickly fading from lack of fuel. No reserves, no future. Profit is not simply a final reward. It is your buffer against volatility. Just like the body needs fat to survive hunger, a business needs profit to endure times without contracts, delayed payments, or market swings. Profit should be split into distinct funds: an operating fund, an investment fund, and an emergency fund. Without a strategy for using profit, your company will always operate reactively instead of proactively. Part 5. Hiring the wrong people and handling it. Hiring in the creative industry is often driven by emotion. A polished CV or an impressive portfolio can cause interviewers to overlook crucial aspects: the ability to work independently, suitability for the company's scale, and a sense of responsibility. Many candidates come from large systems where each person handles just a small piece of the puzzle, and when they move to a smaller environment, they become passive. As a result, someone expected to be a bright spot ends up becoming the bottleneck that slows the entire project down. There's a common belief that technical expertise alone means someone can handle anything. But that's not true in the context of small businesses. Deep specialization must be placed within the right environment. A Houdini artist used to working with render farms and managing complex pipelines may struggle in a studio with only one workstation. When hiring doesn't take into account the current technical ecosystem and workflow, you don't just hire the wrong person. You also put reverse pressure on your system. The mismatch between skills and context is a breeding ground for chaos. When realizing a bad hire, the typical response is to keep the person, hoping to salvage the relationship, or out of fear of disrupting the team mid-project. But that only drags the whole team down. The right approach is to cut losses quickly and decisively, but respectfully. Set clear limits, trial periods, evaluation milestones, and the right to part ways if expectations aren't met. A professional system is not afraid of honest dialogue. Not everyone who's unfit now is useless forever, but you must stop in time to prevent disruption to the entire operation. Part 6. Communication and negotiation to stay in control with clients. Communication in creative business isn't just a presentation skill, it's the art of setting boundaries. If you don't define clear conditions from the beginning, you'll end up being led by endless client requests. Seemingly minor things, review schedules, number of revisions, scope of work, must be precisely defined. Negotiation isn't about gaining the upper hand, but about creating a fair playing field. Once all terms are clear, you don't need to please the client. You just need to stay true to your commitments. Silence in the face of unreasonable demands is often justified as an attempt to maintain a good relationship. But good relationships aren't built on concessions. They rely on transparency and mutual respect. Clients will respect you more when they see that you have principles. If something concerns you, budget, timeline, scope, bring it up right away. Staying quiet to avoid offense only leaves you silently bearing the cost. And when things fall apart, you lose both credibility and peace of mind. A professional workflow must welcome difficult conversations. Ask straightforward questions. If the budget stays the same, but the requirements increase, what's the solution? These very questions help you identify which clients are truly compatible. Long-term partners don't avoid friction. They value clarity. Negotiation isn't about arguing, but about defining sustainable boundaries. Creative professionals don't just sell intellectual products. They sell the ability to lead the process confidently and with composure. Part 7. Selling services without a portfolio. In creative business, what you sell is not a portfolio, it's trust. Clients don't sign contracts because of who you've worked with, but because they feel you understand their problems and can lead them to a solution. Confidence, clarity, and strategic thinking are the 3 keys to persuasion. They don't need you to hold the mouse. They need you to manage the process. Your ability to connect the right people, say the right things, and act at the right time is far more valuable than a flashy but lifeless portfolio. Many people rush to build a thick portfolio before daring to sell services. They pause their marketing and reject collaboration opportunities just because they feel they haven't proven themselves yet. But portfolios don't attract clients. People do. What truly makes a client decide is the steadiness in your communication, transparency in your proposals, and proactivity in solving problems. Waiting for the perfect product before selling is just a way of delaying growth. A product alone can't sell itself without the person behind it to ignite belief. Talk about how you think, how you collaborate with teams, and how you plan to solve the current problem. When you move a client from uncertainty to trust, you've already created value. A good salesperson doesn't talk about themselves. They talk about what others gain by choosing them. In creative service sales, remember, the product is the proof, but people are the reason clients stay. Part 8. Remote work model and flexibility. The distributed model, a small core team with the rest working remotely, is becoming a strategic choice for many creative studios. The benefits are clear: lower operating costs, flexible hiring, and no geographic constraints. People can work from anywhere as long as they have a connection, clear processes, and firm commitments. With tools like Slack, Trello, or Notion, collaboration across time zones and countries becomes feasible. This model not only cuts costs, but also allows for better living conditions for workers. However, the illusion that remote work runs itself is a serious mistake. Without clear processes, synchronized resources, and proactive coordinators, the whole system can quickly descend into chaos. Communication gets disrupted, product standards become inconsistent, and conflicts easily arise due to lack of direct dialogue. Thinking that saving on office space equals success can backfire. The real cost may be delays and prolonged stress from lack of control. Flexibility does not mean looseness. The remote model delivers full strength only when supported by a clear management system, unified schedules, specific task standards, and quick feedback. Each team member must be twice as proactive to compensate for physical distance. and the leader must act as a central hub where all data, decisions, and information converge. With tight organization, this model allows fast expansion without huge investments. Remote work is a lever, but only if you control the rhythm of operation. Part 9. Internal culture and retaining remote talent. Company culture isn't a slogan stuck on the wall. It's how the team is treated, felt, and developed. In a remote environment with no pantry corners, no shared lunch hours, culture must be conveyed through actions. Positive feedback, transparent task assignment, timely recognition. When employees feel heard and see personal growth, even across time zones, they'll stay longer than any paycheck can guarantee. Culture is the invisible glue that fosters real loyalty. Chasing perfect products while neglecting people is a common mistake. Some companies push staff to work through the night to meet deadlines without a single word of acknowledgement. This may boost short-term output, but inspiration and trust will eventually erode. Team members aren't software that can be updated endlessly without draining batteries. If you treat them like disposable resources, don't be surprised when the best ones leave and never return. An organization is only sustainable when its culture is rooted not in fear, but in mutual support. Some businesses invest in everything, equipment, marketing, clients, except their people. Yet it's people who are the central processor of every system. A healthy culture not only retains talent, but also elevates output quality. When staff feel proud, they take initiative, share ideas, and stand with the organization in tough times. You don't need a fancy office or loud team-building activities, just genuine treatment, fairness, consistency, and clear growth paths. That's enough to keep great people around. You want to be your own boss because you think it will bring more freedom, but when the client hasn't paid, deadlines are chasing you, and your team is losing faith, what freedom do you really have? Are you truly ready to trade the spotlight of creativity for negotiation skills, financial control, and daily responsibility? Doing business in the creative industry isn't just the next step after passion. It's a completely different game, a harsher one that demands stronger resolve. Beautiful design can't save a weak business, and if you don't learn how to master risk, risk will master you. Thank you for watching the whole video. Please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.